Hi, guys. Hope you're having a great day. This is Sheila and Fred with Hatfield McCoy Museum and Adventures and FS Investigates.
Hey guys, thanks for joining us. Have a news clip in there we want to converse on. And but before we get started, I was coming to the building earlier, and somebody asked I think it was on my channel, how long you had that hat, all this and that. How long you been wearing a hat? Well, I wear several different hats, but as I was coming through the building earlier, I saw this.
Aw.
And I thought, look at the hat he's got on, but
Yeah.
that's our two children. And so that's whether that's this hat or the other hat. I had two of these. And but anyway, that's how long since I was in the Marines I've been wearing this hat or the other one.
Yeah. Awesome.
Guys, I guess the easiest thing to do is just play the video, and then we'll stop the video on our way through and talk a little bit.
Okay.
And again, you can tell by the background picture what this topic is on.
Yep, Mr.
This
Harless.
is a topic that's dear to Sheila. She has always felt sorry for what's happened to Mr. Harless. Not that I don't, but
Right.
she really took a special interest in it. And let's play the video, bud.
Okay, so just a second, guys. Sorry about that. My throat's trying to.
LEX 18 continues to follow through on the investigation into how London police shot and killed a man while serving a warrant at the wrong house. As Lee Searcy reports, Governor Beshear weighing in on the controversy, watching his words closely until all the facts come out. It's tonight's big story at 6.
This is video of the deadly incident that's turned a town upside down. Many demanding to know how London police ended up at Doug Harless's home while trying to serve a warrant, and why officers shot and killed him. At Team Kentucky, Governor Beshear was asked about the deadly shooting.
That is a tragic situation that from the outside seems that it was preventable or avoidable.
According to an affidavit for the warrant, officers knocked on the front door announcing themselves, then went inside and found Harless armed with a gun. The paperwork also states an officer told a KSP detective that Harless raised the gun, which is why police say they fired several shots. LEX 18 reviewed the neighbor's security video and found gunfire rang out just a minute and 40 seconds after officers began walking towards Harless's front porch.
Sheila and I did that on one of our first videos that we did. We timed it from the time they went up on the porch. We timed it from the time they knocked.
Exactly.
To the few seconds before the door was kicked open. First of all, the governor says it's a very tragic situation. Of course it is. First time we've heard from the governor on this. It's almost 2 months in. Guys, a minute and 40 some seconds. She says that from the time they walked upon the porch till they shot.
Wow.
Next time you're in a dead sleep, you hear something, wakes you up. See how long it takes you to come to your senses, especially somebody crashing through your front door, hollering. Are they hollering police? Are they hollering? Why are they hollering? You don't know. Your mind, especially as we get older, our minds don't react and work like they.
It doesn't process things
That's what I'm looking for.
as quickly as when you were younger.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, this man had a minute to come to his senses, wake up, go to the door, see what was going on. By then the door's kicked open, and there he stands. Now, was he standing there with the gun? Was he standing there in his pajamas? Was he standing there butt naked and nothing in his hands? Was he? See, we're never going to know that. We're going to know what they tell us, but we're never going to know the truth. No matter what they tell us, I'm sure it would vary from what he would tell us if he was here. No matter what they tell us, it would vary. Nothing ever is complete with a police report as what the facts are. That's more on my page. You need to go to Fred McCoy 40 for that. But go ahead, babe. Go ahead and play the rest of it.
Alrighty.
about the December 23rd incident, Bashir's answers were reserved since state police are still piecing together exactly what happened.
That investigation needs to be credible. They fall under the Justice Cabinet, which falls under.
That investigation needs to be credible. They're still piecing everything together. NTSB can piece everything together in a week from a 300 passenger jetliner going down where each person was from and so forth. We need it to be credible. Really? We need it to be credible, like the Johnny Edrington case was in London 36 years ago. Credible. Like 35 years later, when the state police post commander, Doug Asher, writes a book or puts a chapter in a book that says that the trooper committed S-side instead of a homicide, but it was called a homicide. We used to think it was a S-side until we started investigating it after his book came out and he reopened everything up, and we look at it and now we know it's a homicide. It's a homicide. Why is he so bent out of shape calling it a S-side? Governor says he wants state police to be investigation to be credible. How can we count on that? Here's an investigation 36 years ago now. Now we find out that the state police commander, the top guy at London Post 11, says that it was Big Gray Cover-Up. That's the chapter in his book. That's the title. The Big Gray Cover-Up. How do we know, Governor, we're not going to have another big gray cover-up? How do we know that? How can we be assured of that? Johnny Edrington's murder, or hers, is still loose. Case is locked away in the state police file. Governor Bashir there appointed the state police commissioner. State police commissioner Philip Barnett's been sued several times. There's videos all over the internet from things that he done. Guys, this is more from my channel probably, and Sheila, you can cut me off. But
No, you're doing good. I'm just sitting here listening.
there's well, now that I've said that, I forgot what I was going to say. So maybe it
You
wasn't
said
meant
it-
to be said.
Oh, okay. So you said it was meant for your channel.
Maybe it
more
wasn't
than
meant. Well, it
this
was going to
one.
be negative, but it was going to be to the point of,
Oh.
wouldn't it have been nice to have the body cameras? Wouldn't it nice to be able to tell what happened instead of what police officers tell us? I was one for 40 years, and I know that things happen in police work. I know that it seems like we're going against the grain sometimes, but nowadays, if you look at these videos that's out there, we wonder how long this has gone on. There's a difference in arresting somebody and fighting to arrest them.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a difference in just beating somebody down. There's a difference in justification for use of force and just beating somebody down. And for the governor to say that he wants it to be a credible investigation, that sounds great, Governor. That's why he's a politician. That's why he's the governor. He's great at putting words together. He's great at making things. Team Kentucky. Yeah, Team Kentucky. Well, Team Kentucky is, I don't know. Let's find Johnny Edrington's killer. Let's find out the truth about what happened at Doug Harless's house that night.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm going to tell you something, Governor. If it doesn't come out now, or something doesn't come out correctly,
Mm-hmm.
it will come out. It will come. It may be a year from now, 5 years from now, 10, maybe 30 years from now, like Doug Asher. And it'll come out. People will be saying, wow, we couldn't trust them 36 years ago. Can't trust them 30 years ago. Now we can't. All we're doing is making people distrust our state police, our law enforcement agencies. Tell us the truth. Tell those people in London and Laurel County the truth. I'm sorry, babe.
Mm-hmm. No,
I know
I
I'm
just
saying
have-
a few words, but
I know. I just keep talking and talking and talking. I'm just a chatterbox. They have never not mentioned so far the video camera that he had on his porch.
no. Again, This is going to go to the grand jury, and all we can hope is that the grand jury will hold their feet to the fire.
Yes,
That
please.
Mr. Steele, Commonwealth Attorney there, will make whatever is presented to that grand jury be truthful, be the truth,
Right.
believable,
Accurate. Yeah.
backed up with proof. Because it be his grand jury. He's in charge of that grand jury.
Okay.
And 30 years from now, when another Doug Asher comes out and says, oh, well, this didn't happen or that happened, or we told this person that, but he wanted to go with this, it'll come out. And very intelligent man, I believe. And I'm hoping they let the chips fall where they may, go with the evidence.
There you go.
It's okay if somebody made a mistake, somebody was negligent, somebody was careless, people can accept that. What people can't accept is a cover up. Right. People nowadays want the truth. They want to be part of the truth.
Transparency.
They can say, hey, let's be easy here. Okay, made a bad decision, made a mistake, done this, but don't try to hide it from people, because that's what makes people dig harder and harder.
Well, it makes them look guilty of something. So
exactly.
So
and somebody is guilty of something. You put it correctly, because somebody's made a mistake here. Surely it wasn't intentional. Surely we wasn't out to get Doug Harless
over a weed eater.
Especially over a weed eater.
That can't be right.
Play the rest of him there.
For me, so I want to be careful.
When the investigation is complete, LEX 18 has learned the findings will likely be presented to a Laurel County grand jury to decide where the case goes from here. Lee Searcy, LEX 18 News.
Lee Searcy, one of the best reporters. I mean, there's several. Every news agency has their own that Sheila and I listened to over the years. Herald Leader, Carrier Journal. These investigative journalists are some of the best detectives in the land. I would rather have them as most detectives I've ever worked with on cases.
They have the means.
It's just like Sheila. Sheila asks questions as a layperson. That without the law enforcement experience, as far as how other people would ask or other people would feel, and it makes it so easy for somebody else looking at it from a different angle to say, wow, hadn't thought about it. And that's the way Lee Searcy, she's got a good way of reporting.
Yeah.
But she's a very serious investigator in her own right. And
so we'll see.
We need the truth. We need the truth, Governor. We need the truth, Commissioner Burnett. We need the truth. Or London does, Laurel County.
Right.
Still yet, the Kentucky State Police has lost a lot of credibility. Not just Kentucky State Police, a lot of police agencies. And that's what's on my channel.
Police officers in general.
Police officers, law enforcement in general has lost. Federal, state, county, city have lost their credibility. And we need to get that back. I don't know if we can ever get it back. I don't know if it can ever come back. Because I used to think that the FBI, the state police, I thought those guys walked on water or could. They didn't want to show off, so they didn't do it. But I thought they could. I had them right up there. Not with Jesus, of course. I had them up high in my...
You had them on a pedestal.
I had them on a pedestal as far as integrity.
Right.
You know, look at the FBI slogan. Integrity, fidelity. They got fidelity. They're like the thin blue line or thin gray line. They've got fidelity. They stick together. You ever notice how?
So, for people that may not know, so when it goes to the grand jury is going to decide whether or not to go to trial or...
Yeah, they decide. Good question, babe.
Just in case somebody's watching that doesn't know.
The grand jury will look at whatever the state to them. It's usually, grand jury is usually one-sided. What shows up there is the prosecution side, who's wanting to indict somebody or wanting to clear somebody from a no true bill. We presented evidence to the grand jury. Hey, they didn't indict. It's not on us. It's on the grand jury. So grand jury, don't let them leave you hanging. This is going to be on you in the end.
Mm.
And you're going to be from Lowell County. It'll be a Lowell County grand jury.
That was going to be my next question. Is it going to be local, or are they going to have to go? I mean, but so many people has already heard this. So how can, they're
It's
not.
a Lowell County grand jury, but we haven't heard the evidence
Okay.
or what they're going to call the evidence. Is it going to be correct? We don't know. Dead man don't talk.
Yeah.
All the grand jury is going to get one side of what state police are going to tell them, whatever they come up with their investigation. And it's like we talk about on body cams, how officers can be beating the fire out of somebody and hollering, quit resisting, stop resisting. Person saying, I'm not resisting, but you don't see nothing because the camera's down close, or
Right.
and you just see this guy pounding. Is the guy still resisting? Hard to tell. You can't see. The camera's covered, but could be. It could also be a technique police officers use to cover up and act like the person's still fighting so they can get them some licks in.
And that's kind of like a two-way street, though. The offender could be doing the same thing.
See, I love your take on it. You're yin and yang. And and I like that. And it very well could be.
Yeah.
What we need the grand jury to do is ask questions. Take you a pen and pencil and write down, as they're talking, things that don't add up. As that investigator, as that detective is telling you what happened, what he found, what they did, what you've got a CSI mind. CSI, one of the greatest shows ever on TV. I never watched it because I had a career doing that. I did it for real.
You did it for a living.
But people are good investigators.
So will they get to see the affidavit?
They'll see the affidavit. They'll see whatever they ask to see, Sheila. If they don't ask, no, they're not going to go down and volunteer. They're just going to go down and say, here's what we did. We met with this person, and this officer said that this happened. This officer said that. And unless they say, well, what did he say he was at? Where was he in position? Was he in the line of officers going in the door? Was he the primary? Was he the second officer? Was he the third? Where was he at? Was he outside behind the vehicle? We want to hear from these people, these 4 or 5 people that went in that door together.
Okay.
Who done the shooting? Did the first officer? Did the guy point? Do the shooting with a rifle? Did the second officer? Did the third? And if the second or the third did the shooting, why didn't the first? Why didn't the first officer perceive the threat?
Why didn't he see it as?
Why didn't he shoot? But the second or third officer did. Why did the first officer shoot, but the second or third officer didn't? Why is that? They didn't perceive it as a threat, or they knew that. I don't want to put words in their mouth. Let them tell their own story. But did they feel that the threat was taken care of by the primary officer? Possible.
So if they don't ask questions, then they won't get the whole story, because they're not going to freely give them.
They're allowed to ask questions in the grand jury. They're allowed to have their questions answered. They're allowed to call witnesses.
Really?
They can ask for the witness.
I didn't know that.
They can ask to speak to the officer that gave you that statement.
Ooh.
Take his statement that he gave the state police. Let him come in there. It's just you and the grand jury, jury and the person that's doing the interview, and ask him and look at his statement and see if it compares with what he told the state police.
Good idea.
There's so many. Again, the big question here is, and I don't know, nobody knows, and it may have been the point. It may have been the primary officer that done the shooting. But what if the secondary or the third, fourth officer killed Mr. Harless? If that's true, then why didn't the first officer perceive it as a threat?
Good point.
Why didn't he shoot? And maybe that's the one shot. We don't know. We don't know anything about it, guys, other than what we see on the news.
Right.
From these news investigators. We know some people in London. Since we found Joseph Couch, we've made quite a few friends in Lowell County.
Yeah.
We respect the Lowell County Sheriff's Department. We've seen nothing. We've asked for open records from them. We got them. We made an open records request. They've done everything that we've asked. There's nothing to a cover up whatsoever.
Exactly.
State police, we've put in 2 requests. We have one in now. As of right now, we've not just sent a registered letter out last week. Why is the state police turned into a secret organization? They work for us. Guys, you work for us. You work for the state of Kentucky. And I know as a police officer, I heard that all my career.
Yeah.
I pay your salary. You sure do. You sure do. I pay some of it with my taxes. I give some of it back. But we do work for the public. Is it too much to ask to be honest and open? We still haven't got the Kentucky State Police case report on Joseph Couch. State Trooper, Public Relations State Trooper Scotty Pennington says that they tracked somebody through the woods for 3 days. We've never found out who. We've never found out the disposition. Who, if Mr. Couch is laying 500 feet over the hill that you could have thrown a rock and hit him, who did they chase through the woods for 3 days or track through the woods? What was the disposition? Who was it? What were they doing there? Why were they running from the state police? What did they say when you caught up to them? Did you catch up to them? Did you just track somebody for 3 days and just say, let them go? We don't know, see, because we can't get an open records request honored by Post 11 or by Frankfurt on the Joseph Couch case. Why is that? Lowell County Sheriff's Department had no problem honoring it. Sent us everything they had.
Nice.
But see, the Lowell County Sheriff's Department was in charge of investigating Joseph Couch and what he was doing and so forth. Buying the gun, buying the ammo, the people that were shot, the people's vehicles that were shot. That's what their thing was. The state police was in charge of the search for Joseph Couch.
Oh, okay.
We're talking about a man that's 500 foot, in my estimate. I'm not far. Me and Sheila went the long way. It took us a long time to get there because we went the long way around following those birds.
Yep.
But if you just go straight over that hill, you could have tossed a rock through the air and it would have probably fell near where he was at.
Straight as a crow flies.
Yeah, as the crow flies.
Yeah.
Why is that? They searched 28,000 acres and the man's over the hill. How did that happen? We don't know. We don't. That should be in the case report that we're unable to see. I'm sorry I got off on that. But once again, we're going to credibility, babe.
Right. That's what
We're going to credibility. And we're talking about the state police's credibility here. Not just London PD. This was their charade. London PD, in my opinion, the first mistake they made was by not requesting either a state trooper or the Lowell County Sheriff's Department, preferably the Lowell County Sheriff's Department, because the sheriff's departments know everybody in their county.
they know the area.
If you would have called the sheriff and asked him, we're going to go down here to Van Zant Road. Who you going after?
489.
Doug Harless. What did he do? He stole a weed eater. Doug Harless? Are you talking about would that have been the sheriff's reaction, or would the sheriff been saying, oh yeah, I'm familiar with Doug. He's a regular criminal. See, because the sheriff and the deputies serve legal process all over their county. Subpoenas, bad check collections, warrants, criminal summonses. They serve all that stuff. They know everybody. And had they went, a sheriff's officer, he might have said, hey guys, wait a minute. Are you sure this is for Doug Harless? I've never known this man to be in trouble in my life. That may have been a clue. That may have been a hint.
And they maybe could have went back and checked and made sure they were at the right address.
Of course. So that was the first mistake, was not asking, at least asking. Or did they ask? I can't imagine them asking, hey, Sheriff, you or one of your deputies want to go with us on this raid out in your county where you patrol? This is your territory. I know as London police officers, we have countywide jurisdiction.
Right.
We have that in Kentucky for a city that's got such a large population. Goes by your population, but they're probably a third, fourth class city. I know they're not any higher than that probably. I know a 6th class city can't go out in the county and serve and doesn't have jurisdiction out in the county. But what would have been nice if they would have asked somebody that went with them
that knew the area. And
why was it so gung-ho? Why did they have to go by themselves? Was it a personal favor that they said, hey, we don't want the sheriff, we don't want the public relations officer. We don't want the major, because see, we have found all those people credible in that sheriff's department. All of them credible. I know there's always going to be that in counties, guys, but I mean, unless you work for a sheriff that I know, I'm pretty good to know a corrupt sheriff when I see one, because I worked for one in Pike County. Gave up my job over him trying to get something done.
Yeah.
Only to go to two FBI agents. One of them killed his informant, and one of them got another guy out of help get him out of prison or on probation, and end up killing 6 more people. What kind of luck is that? So you may want to take what Fred says with a grain of thought. I'm not that.
Salt.
If you look at my track record, I'm probably not that smart a fella to be listening to.
You are.
We need to find out what happened and the grand jury can do it.
His family needs closure. London needs
The
closure.
grand jury can find out. All it takes is 1, 2 inquisitive people. You've got some inquisitive people showing up. Some people shows up at council meetings for politics. Some people shows up for the right thing. They want the truth. You got to just pick out which ones you want. I don't care who shows up on the grand jury. The more questions they ask, probably the more questions they're going to have to ask, because when they ask one, somebody else is going to be sitting there and saying, like Sheila does, I'll say something and Sheila will ask me a question. I'm thinking, wow.
It'll spider web out.
And that's what the grand jury is going to have to spider web out. They're going to have to do their part, each one of them, and say, okay, now when he gets done, I want to ask you something, because he's just asked you something that's, you guys can get to the bottom of this.
Sure.
And I'm going to tell you something, grand jury. There's only 12 of you, and it has to be the preponderance. It takes 9 to indict anybody. But when this is all over with, you can blame the state police. They can blame London PD. They can blame this person. They can blame the mayor. They can blame the council. They can blame anything they want. But when this is all over with, in the newspaper, or all for the rest of history, they're going to say, guys, it's out of our control. That's what the grand jury did.
Ooh.
So it's going to come back to the grand jury. You're going to be the
deciding factor.
Wow. Did we play all of him? No,
yes, we did. It was at the end, and so I just took that off and brought us up.
Guys,
So we're
sorry
at the
to
end.
stray. Sorry to.
It's all good. No worries.
I've not done a lot in life, but law enforcement was from the time I was in kindergarten, probably. And that was my go, and went in the Marines till I could get 21 to be a police officer. And that was the path that I took. Unfortunately, I thought I was raised with this. I thought police officers were all honest, were all fair, and agencies. I thought agencies was just the higher the agency, from the state police to the FBI, was just the highest echelon you could go. And I thought they was just more credible. And I don't think that after 40 years, I don't think that at all. And if you want to see why, go to Fred McCoy 40. That's my YouTube channel. And it may explain it to you.
Well, if they reveal the truth on Mr. Douglas Harless's case, that's a step in the right direction.
Oh, for sure, babe.
So,
this is the state police. The state police, this is their time to shine. They can come in there and say, hey, guys, listen, we love all these people, and there was a lot of mistakes made, and here's what happened, and here's who you got to hold accountable. Here's who said this or did that.
Truth will set you free.
And that can come out later on. There can be Mr. Steele can, you're talking about if there's no intent, and again,
Right.
I don't think there was intent. I don't think nobody went there to say, hey, let's do Doug Harless in. I mean, you don't know about life anymore, but I don't think so. I think it was just a careless, negligent, and reckless case.
There you go.
But short of it being intentional, then you can work with those people. You can work with the Commonwealth attorney. You can work and plead things out. But at least people know. I don't think they want the truth.
Exactly.
People are hurt over law enforcement. We're brokenhearted that law enforcement is like it is. And we want a resurrection as far as, here we are. Here's the truth. We're going to give it to you. And that would be a start. The other start would be the Johnny Edgerton case. Give us the Johnny Edgerton case. We need the Attorney General's office. If the governor, governor's all warm-hearted and all, I want the truth and I want credible stuff. Okay, if you want credible, ask your Attorney General, Mr. Coleman, to appoint 2 of his investigators to reopen the Johnny Edgerton murder case. December 1988, 36 years ago. That Doug Harless, in his book that just come out last year.
Watch your back.
There you go. I keep it handy. This here is the most damaging book to ever be written on the Kentucky State Police. The most damaging. Take that piece of paper out.
Right here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Look at that title. The Big Gray Cover-Up. That man was with the state police for 30 years. That was the London post commander of the Kentucky State Police. Says he had an honorable career. That's what he says. I say he stayed there for 30 years and drawed retirement with a dishonorable career. If he felt that something was an S side 30 years ago by one of his troopers, and he didn't bring attention to it, even as far as going to the media if he had to, like myself and my partner were finally forced to get something done. We finally had to go to the media, and the media investigated and knew we was telling the truth. And there was some indictments, there was some charges, there was some, but the state trooper that investigated that, our case was also from Harlan, Kentucky, known as the Bulldog, said he would go get him. Because we wanted the feds. We knew he had to get out of Kentucky. Didn't go that route. And he didn't get them. He didn't get them. He says, I've been to school. I've been educated now. Told us when we met him. Said, I've never been told to back off a case. Really? That's bull crap. Kentucky State Trooper, after the sheriff fired me and Paul Hatfield, my partner, he hired a Kentucky State Trooper, a detective that was supposed to be investigating the Susan Smith case. The girl that come up missing from the FBI agent that murdered her because he got her pregnant. The very same Kentucky State Police trooper that was supposed to be trying to find out where this Susan Smith was went to the sheriff's department. The sheriff fired myself and the Hatfield detectives. The 2 detectives fired us and gave that state trooper both of our salaries that we had claimed was corrupt. And a lot of other officers, in depositions, and court records are out there. So you lose your trust. You lose trust. I've got an experience with exactly what went on with the weed eater. I'm going to shut up after I say this.
No, take your time. It's all good.
A public official calls in and says, hey, I need a favor from you. I'm there for you. I'll do it. I know all about it. I have personal experience with that. I know all about it. When a politician, an official calls in and he's worked a divorce for you, he's worked a bankruptcy for you, and never charged you a dime, but boy, I need a favor. There it is. Now it's payback time. Why you don't, as a police officer, guys, when they give you these gift cards at Christmas,
That's
you
why.
say, what about that? Same thing I was getting you. Thanks. You give it back. You don't owe nobody nothing. You call a case like you see it. Listen, guys, I don't walk on water. I'm not sitting here trying to act like I'm something I'm not. I've had to fight people. I've had to arrest people. I've had to take people to the hospital after I've arrested them. Not one person was ever handcuffed when I was wrestling with them. The law gives us the authority to use whatever force is necessary to effect the arrest. But when that arrest is conquered, when it's accomplished, hands off. The law doesn't say, Fred, because you chase that guy down the road at 150 miles an hour, when you get him, you beat his
Tail.
his butt. Yeah. It don't say arrest and punish.
Because he didn't stop. Yeah.
It says arrest and take to jail. Let the attorneys, let the county attorney, the Commonwealth attorney, that's their department, and the judge and the jury. Man, we got police officers now it's like it's their duty they've got more. They look like the Gestapo. And you know, when you do a person, when you give them that power and you give them those, it makes them feel it's not. I'm not going to say it's not their fault, because it is. It's our fault if we act like that. But we sometimes we can contribute to it. Sorry, baby. Way too long. Well, I told her from the beginning. I said, this is going to be a short video. I'm sorry.
It's all good. I'm just poking fun at you. It's all good. Well, we hope you enjoy the video, guys. Hope you're doing well this evening. Please like, subscribe, and share. And we'll catch you on the next one. Bye.
Thank you, guys. God bless you.
Yep. God bless.